So today we're going to do a Yin Yoga session, and I'm very excited to be doing this with the both of you because I think we've never done Yin Yoga before, right? So we've practiced other forms of yoga, sometimes shorter sessions, sometimes slightly longer, sometimes with a mix of running and walking in between. But today it's going to be a 1 hour session and it's going to be gentle. So the principle of Yin Yoga is, number one, you need to find your edge. What is your edge? Is when you feel a slight resistance to different poses that we will go together, and I'll show you different variations. So depending on what you're comfortable with, we're not going to push too much, okay? So that's the first part where you need to find your edge. And I will tell you which target areas we are looking at, all right, that we are targeting. That's why it's called a target area. And if you feel that there is any resistance, stop there. Which leads us to our second point. Instead of the normal asanas that I go into movements, for Yin Yoga, we're going to be staying in these poses for about 2 to 3 minutes. Okay. And then number three, there must be stillness. So we have to just focus on our breathing and just be aware of the asana or the pose that we're getting into, the target areas that we are targeting. And we try and keep as still as possible. That means your mind also, sometimes, it wanders. We just focus back on the breathing and I will be guiding you accordingly, all right? And then when you feel like, when you feel the sensations in your body either increases or decreases, be aware of those sensations, all right? Listen to your body. That's very important in yoga. Listen to your body. If it's resistance that's a little bit painful or you just can't take it anymore, then do another variation that will ease up the pose. So I'm not telling you guys to just stay in that position forever, okay? And you can't move around, but try and just find the edge first. Then we're going to be holding those poses for 2-3 minutes because we're all beginners, and then we are going to keep still. But then when you feel like, I feel that my pose is becoming a little bit more easier now, and then we're going to go into it deeper, all right? And you'll find that when you are more aware of your body. And finally, we need to be gentle. So that's what Yin Yoga is all about. It's all about being gentle and being able to go into poses very gently and being aware of your breathing, going back to your state and just focusing on the sensations in your body, all right? So are we okay to do that? All right, no injuries? No moon cycle, meaning you've got no more menses, right? It's done already, right? Okay, so today my class will be with my children, and this is going to be quite exciting because it's my first official class that I'm doing for my teacher. Okay, all right, so we've spoken about yoga. I've got my notes here just so that I don't forget. And now one more thing about Yin Yoga and why I wanted to tell you all this is because unlike the other yogas like Hatha, when I do Hatha with you, or Ashtanga with you, there's always that move. So we're always in dynamic movement. But for this, we are now targeting the fascia, okay, which is the connective tissue. All this while, we're only focusing on the superficial muscle, but now we're just focusing on the connective tissues so that we'll be able to strengthen the joints and then hopefully give us a little bit more flexibility. The both of you are very flexible, so sometimes we need to be aware of that too. Just make sure that when you are flexible, that's great, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you are targeting the areas that we are focusing on each respective pose, okay? All right, but first, because I wanted to tell you all this, I think the three of us are constantly on our device. So the theme for our Yin Yoga session today is switching off, okay? We're disconnecting with our devices to reconnect with ourselves, all right? And this is something that we're going to do. We've just had buka, so we're going to take it slow first, starting with the awareness program where we're going to put our hands onto your palms. Just be seated at a very comfortable position first, no matter how you want to cross your legs, you want to extend it out, whatever you feel comfortable. Make sure you're okay to be seated in that position whilst we do our breathing exercise and awareness, all right? All right, as you sit down comfortably, You can close your eyes, bring your palms to the chest, and just be aware of your surroundings. I know your brother is stomping outside or upstairs, but try and bring that awareness back to your breathing. And we're just going to go into normal breathing first. Just scanning our body as we slowly melt our body onto our mat. Wherever you feel parts of your body, like your ankle, your buttocks, the back of your thighs, maybe parts of your toes, depending on how you're seated. Just be aware of that feeling, that sensation as you melt onto your mat. As we bring ourselves to prepare for this Yin Yoga session, we're going to dedicate an hour to ourselves to reconnect and to simply be mindful of each sensation of our body, our breath, things that are happening around us. As we breathe in and breathe out, let's slowly relax our toes, sole of your feet, your ankles, your shin, calves, knees. Relax. The back of your thigh, your front thigh, your buttocks. If you have to adjust yourself a little bit, just so that you can feel more comfortable, do so. Let gravity take nature, do its course, and relax. Focusing on your lower back, middle back, moving up to your upper back and shoulders. Relax. Let's focus on our arms, forearms, elbows, palms, your fingertips. Relax. Your neck, your chest, your abdomen. Relax. Your jaw, your cheeks, your mouth, the muscles around your eyes, your eyebrows, the back of your head, forehead, all the way to your crown, the top of your head, and relax. Take a moment here to set your intention, to allow yourself some time to reset and to focus on yourself. Sometimes we forget about the sensations in our body because we're so numb by all the videos that we watch, all the information that we get. So now we're just going to focus on ourselves, our body, our breathing, the energy around us. Set your intention that it will be a great way to reconnect with yourself. Be aware of the temperature of the room, the sounds outside. Now place your left palm on your left knee and your right palm onto your abdomen or your belly. And we're going to do 5 deep breaths. And how you're going to be doing this, it's as if you are imagining your belly. When you inhale, it will puff up like a balloon. And when you exhale, it will cave in all the way. Exhale through your mouth. Macam dia pancit. Do that again. Inhale. Fill up the balloon. Exhale. 3 more times, your own pace. Remember to relax your facial muscles. Again. One more time. Place your right palm on your knees. Whenever you're ready, just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and slowly, gently open your eyes. Now, before we go into any yin yoga poses, I just want to let you know that you see a lot of cushions around here. We've got 2 pairs of blocks, and I will show you how to use this for different variations of going into respective poses. So feel free to use these props to assist you. If you don't need the props, then feel free to not use them depending on your edge. Okay, so once again, yin yoga is about your edge, about holding it, stillness, as well as being gentle to your body. All right, let's now go onto all fours, and we're going to go into cat-cow just to give ourselves not so much of a warm-up, but just to limber ourselves, because we've been like sitting, you know, on our seats waiting for buka. All right, so make sure that your palms are directly under your elbows, where your shoulders are. On inhale, look up. Exhale, look down to your belly. Inhale, look up. Exhale, down. Inhale, look up. Exhale, down. You can tuck your feet or you can put it down, yeah? And one more time. Inhale up. And exhale down. Slowly tuck your feet and prop yourself to downward dog. And if your hamstrings are feeling a little bit tight, you can just walk your dog very gently, just to wake up the hamstrings so it's not so tight. Just very gently, and just walk all the way up to your mat where your palms are, and just squat down for a while. Does anyone feel dizzy yet? Because we just broke fast. You want to fart? That's normal. If you're going to break wind, that's normal, because we're doing poses that are contracting your internal organs. Slowly bring yourself up first. Okay? Hands on your hips. I think it's easier this way. Your feet is like your hip width. All right? And we're going to slowly dangle. This is the first yin yoga pose, which is the dangling. So you can opt, because what we're going to be targeting here is your hamstrings, okay, as well as your spine and your shoulders, okay? So if you feel that when you're dangling, you can bend your knees. That's one way, okay? You don't have to straighten it right away, because your hamstrings might be straight. Eventually, if you feel that you can go straighter, then fine. But for the moment, you can try just bending your knees a bit, and you'll notice that the blocks has different heights. So you can use this to just balance yourself, all right? Depending on what is your edge. So there are 3 different heights here. Or you can also just wrap your hands onto your elbows and just dangle, and it's called the dangle. All right, so if you need, let's just get into your shape first to see where your shape is or your edge is. You can choose to use any props if you want. If you don't need it, it's fine. You can start with just your knees bended, and once you're ready, once you're ready, find your shape. I forgot my timer. I want to make sure that we try and hold the pose. Have you found your shape? Iman, you okay? Okay. All right, here we go. We got it? Okay. And let's dangle. Remember to breathe. And to relax your facial muscles. Yin Yoga is all about gentle movements, being gentle to your body, finding that edge and holding that pose. Some people can go as long as 6-7 minutes, but we're going to start off with maybe 2-3 minutes. Remember to breathe. If it feels a little bit shaky, just slightly adjust yourself to find that edge again. You don't want to push too hard. Be aware of the sensation. Is it at the back of your legs? Is it more at your buttocks area? In my case, it's the shoulders, maybe because I've been desk bound. Don't be here, I'm doing my exam. Okay, feel the sensation. Just one more minute here, guys. And if you feel that the edge has decreased, you might want to straighten your legs a little bit or change the height of your blocks if you're using blocks. Remember, the target area is your hamstring, your spine, your shoulder. I felt it at my quad earlier on. 30 more seconds. Look down because you're going to lengthen your spine at the same time when you're looking down. Holding it just for a few more seconds. 15 seconds. You're doing fantastic, girls. Alright, slowly bend your knees down. Okay, and we are going to go on a rebound where we're going to rest. What you're going to do is go for a mini Shavasana. Just lie down on your back and just open up your palms, close your eyes. You might want to shake your legs a little bit. And just feel the sensation. Be aware of the sensation as you rebound and come out of the pose earlier on. Whatever felt a little bit uncomfortable as you went into your edge, really allow yourself this pose to relax and to reset. Remember to relax the facial muscles. And when you're ready, bend your knees, turn to your left side or your right side, prop yourself up, and we are gonna go into our dragon pose. Okay, so there are two versions of the dragon pose, and we are gonna use right and left. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back into tabletop, push ourselves gently back into downward dog. If your hamstrings are still feeling a little bit tight, just walk your dog a little bit. Take your right leg up and put it in between where your two palms are. Okay. And what you're going to do is you are going to place your left knee down, feet down on the floor. And here, again, you can use your blocks to prop yourself. Now, the target area will be your hips, your hip flexors. So you'll be feeling the edge around your hip flexors. Okay, if it's a little bit hard on balancing, make sure you use your blocks. And then also around your quads. Okay, now when you are bending forward, you don't want the knees to go beyond your feet. All right, so just be aware of that. You can just rest with your arms like this. If this is too painful for your knees, you might want to add a cushion on your knee if it hurts you, or even on your where your ankles are. If that doesn't feel comfortable, then you can add in a cushion or a blanket. Find your shape first. Another option is to tuck your toes in and raise it up to make it a little bit easier. But what's important is you want to target your hip flexors, all right? Once you found your shape, we are going to go back to 3 minutes. Are we ready? You've got it? You're comfortable? So we're going to start off with the right leg first. Here we go. Find that edge. Just be aware of your breathing. Again, if this is too difficult for you, you can always use the props. But whatever it is, you are trying to target your hip flexors as well as your quads. Okay? Okay. There's also the option of just placing it here for a deeper stretch. And if it hurts your knees, then just use the cushion. Ideally, we find the shape first before we start the countdown. But sometimes it does take a while for you to see which one's more comfortable for you while you're holding that pose for a few minutes. 1 minute done. And after this, we're going to go onto a low dragon, all right? Still using the right side before we go into rebound. And then we're going to switch places or switch legs. Let's now move to low dragon, where you will now either take your blocks to go all the way down here. I am slightly moving my right leg outer and using my forearms to rest. If this is too painful for you, if it's uncomfortable, then you can use the props that you have, as long as you are targeting. All right. Remember to breathe. Remember to square your hips. If you feel that you're like a little bit lopsided, remember this too. Take it back in. Are you doing okay though?
Yeah.
Maybe because you don't have an extra, because we've got extra cushion here, so if you want, you can always use the blanket for your knees, okay? If it helps you. Do you need help? Are you doing okay? Okay. So now, from here, you're going to take your foot to the back. You can go into plank, or you can just straight away lie on your belly. Arms at the side of your body. Your face looking to your right. We started with the right. We'll also do it on the right. You can put your arms down. You want to completely rebound. Wherever you're comfortable. So remember where your face is facing, because later on you want to go the opposite direction. Some people find it more comfortable putting their forehead on their arms. I actually prefer facing all the way down onto my mat, just melting onto my mat and completely letting go. But whatever is more comfortable for you, as long as you relax. Again, feeling the sensation that's running through your body as you take a little breather from that high dragon and low dragon, focusing on your hip flexors and your quads. Whenever you're ready, just wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. Slowly bring your palm at the side of your chest and prop yourself gently to your knees, and let's go for a little quick child's pose just to relax the hip flexors for a while before we begin with the left side of your body, moving into high dragon followed by the low dragon. All right, when you're ready, let's go back into tabletop. Tuck your feet and prop yourself up gently into downward dog. By now, your hamstrings should be slightly better on one side. If it's not, it's fine. If you can't straighten it, it's completely fine. Now we're going to move on to our left side. So raise your left leg up. Bring it towards the middle of your two palms. We are going to go on high dragon. And again, find your edge. See what is comfortable for you. You can go lower, or you can just stay where you are as long as you are opening up your hip flexors. And remember, this is going to be for another 3 more minutes. Here we go. And I don't know about you, but do you notice that one side might differ to the other? All right, let's find your edge first. Your mind's okay. Is it better for you with the thing? Yeah? Okay. If it helps to close your eyes, although sometimes when you're closing your eyes, it takes more effort to balance yourself, because in a way you are balancing. But if it helps you to be more aware, then you can also do that. Close your eyes or not to, depending on what you are comfortable with. Is this much more easier on one side? Isn't that funny? Isn't that strange? That means one side's more dominant, perhaps. That means this one's easier, right? Our right side is it less, or is it increasing or decreasing? Is it tougher on one side than the other? Harder. Harder for you?
Yes, sir.
Oh, interesting. And remember to not put your knees beyond your feet. It's not about how your pose looks like, but about ensuring that you find the edge of the target area that we are focusing on from one pose to another. There is a slight resistance, but it should never hurt you. And it's gentle always to the body. 30 more seconds before we go into low dragon. Alright, so now you know what to do with the low dragon. You can use your forearms to go all the way down. Again, adjusting your knee. If you want to tuck your knee, your feet, your toes to make it easier and to lift it up, that could be a little bit more challenging. Find your edge. If you want to use a bolster, or in this case, because we don't have a bolster, you want to just use a cushion to just help you, give you a little bit more support. You can do that too. Find your shape. Some people find it once the sensation decreases and you think you want to go a little bit lower, feel free to do so. If not, just stay where you are and hold. Remembering to breathe. Five, four, three, two, one. Slowly take your palms, prop yourself up, and you can slowly bring your left leg to the back to your mat. And what we're going to do is maybe just go into child's pose for a while, just to give those hip flexors a little reset, just for a while before we slide or walk our arms and slowly go down onto your belly and rest completely. This time, if you were facing right earlier on, let's face the other side to give a balance to your neck as we relax and rebound in this pose. So you can find a position either with your hands on your side, or you can be resting your forehead or your side of your face on your hands, your forearms as you cross it over. Or you can even get a pillow if that's more comfortable for you, and just do breathing, relax for a while, taking this time to rebound, feeling the sensation. That's probably there as you relax and relax. Breathe out down. Wiggle your toes. Maybe you can flutter your feet. Wiggle your fingers. And slowly bring yourself palms on the mat. Another quick child's pose before we go into our next Yin Yoga pose, the caterpillar. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to just turn around, and this time we are going to round your spine as well as focusing on your back of your hamstrings or your back of your legs. All right, now for this we are going to, there are a few ways, so you can watch me first because I noticed that I'm not telling you the different variations before you get into shape, and I start the countdown, which I think we should try and get into shape first. So if your hamstrings are still tight, you can choose to bend your knees a bit and then before you fold forward. All right. Another option is, if this is tiring for you, you can also use the cushions, and you can prop it up here, and then just to support the back of your knees. You want to be comfortable, okay? And again, the target area will be your hamstrings, all right? So Iman, you want to get a smaller cushion perhaps? Or if you are feeling more flexible and your edge, you don't feel the edge when you're bending your knees, you might want to straighten it, okay? And you can go all the way down. You can also use the cushion place it maybe in between your thighs or on your knees, where you can just rest and relax your head down. So find your shape first. Again, the target area is your hamstrings, and you're going to be rounding your spine and dropping your head slightly so that it will lengthen the spine even more. All right, so find your edge first before we start the countdown. Which one's more comfortable for you? Yeah, you can bend your knees first, Belle. I think for you, Belle, you can use this cushion, right? You can use that cushion and just maybe fold it a bit because we don't have bolsters in this house. And you can just put it underneath your, is that better for you? Yeah? So it's not about straightening your legs so much, but you just want to make sure that you've got that edge around your hamstrings, and you're going to be rounding your spine. Okay, so those are the target areas, and making sure that you drop your head slightly to further lengthen the spine. All right, are you ready? Down. It hurts. Where does it hurt? Maybe we can do something. I'll have to change a pose then if that's the case. It hurts in your shoulders?
No.
Or where?
Just like
Around the neck. Is it because of it hurts for you when you're looking down?
yes, maybe.
How about if you look up for a while? Does that ease your,
Yeah.
because you know we're always constantly on the phone, so you want to counter it by looking up. So perhaps before we go into that, Iman, do you feel the same way? Is there a bit of discomfort here? Like there's a bit of a muscle strain? Just look up for a while. In 5, 4, round your shoulders up, out. 3, 2, 1. Does that feel better? Back to neutral or center? Is that better for you? Okay, so now let's go into caterpillar pose. Whenever you're ready, find your edge. You want to maybe use a pillow on top of your knees or on top of your hair. We've got this actually. I don't know if this will help or if it's too big. If this will help. Does that help? Iman, you okay? All right. Let's go into caterpillar. You don't have to touch your toes if you can't, as long as you feel the stretch on your spine as well as your hamstrings. Bless you. Inhale and exhale, normal breathing. Make sure you relax the forehead, the muscles around your cheek. 1 more minute. And slowly bring yourself up. Maybe you can take the palm at the back of your body, and you can also shake it off a little bit if that feels good for you. Remove the props around you for a while. Slowly bring yourself to a mini Shavasana, to rebound. And here we go. Palms facing upward, and feel the sensation after doing that pose, holding it in, feeling the energy, the prana that's moving and circulating the joints that we've just worked on. Making sure you completely surrender yourself and relax any tense muscles. Remember to breathe in and exhaling, regulating your breathing. Being aware still of the sensations in your body. Whenever you're ready, wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, give yourself a slight smile, bend your knees. Maybe you want to hug your knees for a while and rock your body from side to side, just giving your lower back a little massage. Something that feels good, rewarding your body, loving your body, treating it with kindness, gentleness. Slowly bring your knees and your feet down to the mat. Go to your side, use your palms to prop you back into a seated, comfortable position. And we're going to go back into tabletop for a while. Are we okay doing so far, girls?
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you want to do a little child's pose? Okay, let's do a little child's pose. Maybe we'll do a wide, yeah. Oh, Iman gets it. All right, so a wide child pose. Just walking your fingers and just slowly stepping in, just for a while. The one thing about Yin Yoga for me is that you want to allow for your body to be completely relaxed, gentle. So even in between poses, you want to give yourself some love, relax. And since we are in this pose, maybe you can adjust yourself. This is the wide-legged child pose, and it is targeting again your hip flexors, around your groin area. If you feel uncomfortable at the shin of your feet, on top of your ankles, you might want to prop it up with a cushion or a blanket, or you can just adjust it a little bit where you widen your pose or your legs. If this going too deep is too much for you, you can always take the pillow and place it on your belly, if that helps, or even on your face. We're changing things up a little bit because I want you all to be comfortable while still holding a pose. So let's do this, all right? We're changing things a little bit. Make sure you find your edge and really go in deep. If If you want a bit of a challenge, then you can just open your legs a little bit wider and really go in deep. And let's stay still here. I'll let you know when it's about 1 hour 30 minutes, because then you can change the side where you're facing, just so that you give yourself a bit of balance to where your neck is facing. You okay, Iman? Yeah, it helps when you've got a bit of a pillow to prop you up, to give you support. You can also choose to put your arms at the back instead of in front of you, or if you want to put it and wrap it around your body at the back. See which one's more comfortable for you. Again, the target area is the hip flexors, but this pose also opens up your chest. Focusing a little bit on your shoulder depending on where you're positioning your arms. Let's change the face to the other side as we move into another 1 minute and 30 seconds. Remember to breathe and to feel the sensation of your body as we target the connective tissues to regulate the prana or the chi or the energy in our body. When we are stretching our connective tissues or putting some gentle stress on it, it only can be done when you're holding a pose and being still but gentle at each pose. And you'll feel the sensation either increasing or decreasing. If it's decreasing, you can challenge yourself a little bit more. Maybe you can remove the pillow. But if you're feeling okay here, this edge is still there, then continue just holding the pose in stillness, focusing on your breathing as you inhale and exhale. Really allowing your body to work with the gravity to pull you down to the mat. So you can really feel the stretch. Alright, let us slowly bring ourselves back up. Bring your feet together. And we're just gonna do a little quick counter on that. Bring it together and hug your knees tight, because just now we were opening up our hip flexors, right? So now we just want to give it a little reprieve by holding it tight. And if you want, you can also bring it up, your feet or your toes away from the mat, and hold it up for a while, just to hug yourself. And we are gonna go into the next pose, which is the saddle pose. Now the saddle pose, initially I wanted to do left and right, but I think knowing the both of you, we can try the saddle pose. Now what the saddle pose does is you will go onto your seated position like this, and what we're going to be focusing on is your lower spine, your knees, as well as your ankles. So if your knees feels uncomfortable here, because what's going to happen is you can choose to do this first. All right, you can choose. If this is already where you can feel the edge on your your knees as well as your ankles, this is already your edge. If not, if you think that I haven't quite found my edge, you can also take the cushion and place it on your back, and slowly, when you're ready, you can go all the way down like this, or you can use another cushion to just prop your head up. But the focus here, guys, is to firstly keep your feet as close as possible. It doesn't have to touch each other, and the edge would be your ankles. If it hurts, you can put a cushion around it, around your ankles, as well as your knees and your lower spine. All right? Have you found your edge? Are you comfortable? When you look okay? Do you want another pillow somewhere? Do you need another pillow? Or you can use a blanket as your head. Belle, you alright? Alright, here we go. Another 3 more minutes. Saddle pose. Here we go. Again, this is your lower spine, your knees, and your ankles. If you feel that your knees are going away from the mat and you want some support, you can also put a cushion underneath your knees. Because again, the target area is at your lower back, your lower spine, as well as your ankles. Okay? So if you feel, oh, this one's fine. For you, you might need a cushion. So I'm just going to slowly bring this up. Does that feel better? Yeah, you can also bring your hands up there, or you can bring it down. So the target area will be on the ankle, but it shouldn't hurt, and around the knee area, as well as your lower back. Doing fantastic, guys. One minute. Lower back. Your knees. There might be a different sensation as we are almost at the tail end of our session. Now slowly bring your hands to your side if you got it down, and just relax yourself, removing the props. And we're going to go into a mini Shavasana. And feel the sensation and the relief that it gives you. It's just as important for the rebound session as it is with the Yin asanas. Be aware of the sensation of getting out from the pose. Maybe mentally setting some energy and some prana healing to your targeted areas as you imagine the chi or the energy running up and down your body, healing your joints, your connective tissues, relaxing your shoulders, your neck, your facial muscles. Noticing how your belly just moves up and down as you take in your inhalation as well as your exhalation, regulating the heartbeat. And when you're ready, wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, bring your knees up, and we are going to hug our body. And we're gonna just massage the lower back from side to side. Just rock yourself from side to side. And we're gonna go into our final pose before we go into our final Shavasana. And what we're gonna be doing is called the happy baby. Right? And for the happy baby, you're also gonna be targeting your hip flexors, maybe even your shoulders, and then your back. So how you're going to be doing it is, you can just watch me first. Anytime you're ready. All right, you're still in your back. You can choose to take your index finger and your middle finger and wrap it around your big toe and just hold like this, okay? But if the edge is a little bit too strong for you here, you can choose to just hold your knees together instead, okay? So again, the target area would be around your flex area, your hip flex, your groin area. Did that Iman fall asleep? All right, it's okay. She's really getting into Shavasana. It's fine. So let's just do our final Yin Yoga pose and she can continue with Shavasana. Was that a good Shavasana, Iman? We're gonna go into our final yoga pose for Yin. And Iman, for you, because you've just resetted yourself, you can just rock yourself from side to side, giving your lower back a little massage. And we're going to go into our last pose, which is the happy baby. So you can take your index finger and your middle finger, and you can just hold your big toe and just spread it out like that. Find your pose, find your edge. And remember that we are going to be holding this pose in stillness while being gentle to ourselves, okay? If this is too much for you, then you can also choose to just take the palms of and wrap it around your knees, and you can just hold it here. And if you need support, you can always use the pillows or the props to just help you get into your pose better, okay? All right, find your shape. Remember that we're going to be holding this for another 3 minutes. Once you've got your shape, you can use that, or in my case, I'm just going to hug my knees because I can already feel the edge here. And I'm using the props of the cushion at the side just to help me out. Okay, so find your shape. Are we ready? All right, last Yin Yoga pose, ladies. Here we go. You can close your eyes. Find your edge. We're going to hold it for another 3 minutes or so. Remember to breathe in and out. maybe this time, since we're at our last asana, you want to also do some breathing, conscious breathing, inhaling and exhaling through your mouth, slow, long, deep breaths as you stay in this pose, finding your edge and holding it whilst being gentle to your body. Remember to relax your shoulders, your facial muscles. If you feel, in my case, I am holding my knees and I feel the sensation decreasing, I'm going to slowly move my fingers to where my big toe is, and I'm going to spread it a little bit wider for myself, just so that I can increase the sensation where I comfortably have found my edge. It is a funny position, isn't it? And that's why it's called a happy baby. If you feel it is, wow. Okay, gonna hold it. Maybe if you are feeling a little bit exhausted, you want to hold on to your knees. Hold on to this way. Yep. You don't have to stretch so big or widen your legs so big. Maybe you want to use the blocks to hold on to the side of your legs. Put it on the side of your buttocks. Another 30 more seconds. So you put it here. So you just toss it out a little bit. To this. Feeling should be here. Are you feeling it? Here? Here? Yeah. Do you need this? Yeah. This is but they've got straps. They've got straps. When you are having a vaginal birth, this is exactly what happens. All right, ladies. So slowly bring your feet together, your knees together. Again, hug your knees tight. Give yourself hug your knees tight and go from side to side. And we're gonna go into our final Shavasana. You can remove the props around you. And if you are more comfortable doing a Shavasana with put your feet down if you want, or if you feel that you want to have a cushion here, does this feel better for you? Is that better, or you want it all straight? This is better? No? Is this better? You don't want to put it up? Try. See if this feels better for you. Because I want you all to really, you deserve this Shavasana. This is the final Shavasana. You can put your hands up. You can put it on the side of your body. And we are going to take a longer Shavasana this time around. Relaxing toes. Ankles. So the feet. And shin. The back of the knees. Relax your buttocks, your groin area, lower back. Pelvic bone, your belly, lower back, upper back, shoulders, relax. Relax your arms, your armpits, your forearms, elbows, wrists, palms, fingers. Relax the back of your head, your neck, your ears, your jaw, mouth, cheeks. Relax your eye muscles, muscles around the forehead, and relax. Slowly wiggle your toes. Wiggle your fingers. When you're ready, you can slowly remove the props surrounding you. Maybe you can give yourself another stretch. It's a little bit tight here, but you can try and reach out to the back. Next time Mama will prepare a bigger space. You can hug your knees before you prop yourself to the side. stay with your eyes closed. And slowly bring yourself into a seated position. Pop your hands up. Place your palms on your knees. Inhale. Exhale out. Inhale one time. Exhale out. This time inhale. Raise your hands up. Exhale down, palms to your heart. Bring your awareness to the gratitude that you have of spending an hour or so doing this as a family, mother to daughters, daughters with mama. Having yet another Ramadan as we go into the 19th day of our Ramadan. Grateful for the food that we have, the abundance of love from your family and loved ones. Gratitude of having an able body to have and enjoy the simple things in life like school, friends, shelter, good food on the table when we buka puasa, being able to commit and dedicate this practice because you want to see your mother succeed. Thank you, ladies. I really appreciate that. And for being so focused and so committed to this practice, loving yourself, being more in tune with your body, disconnecting from your devices to reconnect with your soul, your body, your mental being. As we slowly place your palm on your knees, feel the warmth of your palm, the energy, the prana, being channeled to your knees. Bring it up to your hips, your lower back, your abdomen, all the way to your chest. Give your shoulders a nice little massage. Your neck, bring it to your crown. Give yourself some love, bring it to your face. Bring it to your heart. On inhale, we're going to do just 3 hums. Humming of the throat chakra, that we may always be truthful, that we may be able to communicate good messages of love, and to never ever be afraid of speaking up. Inhale and exhale, hum. You don't know how to? Okay, this is also a practice of being open. Let's do that one more time. Inhale and hum. Let's get over the inhibitions at your own pace. One more time. Or you can choose to just breathe in and out. Let's try this. Closing your ears and feeling a different sensation when you do this practice. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Rub your palms together. Place it in your eyes, your cheeks. Make sure you smile. Bring it back to your heart. Namaste, go. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a fantastic good night rest, and I shall see you for sahur. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So how did you like it?
It's very nice. I'm so sleepy now.
Yeah, so this really does relax you. It's more gentle, and you will notice that as you heal tonight, as you've dedicated yourself to the practice, that you feel some difference, hopefully, to the body. I've been doing this really intensely, committing to my mat for the past 2 weeks, just so that I can complete my practice, and I feel that already my body is much more flexible, and it's not so much about competing about can I do it in this pose and stuff like that, but because I used to be so flexible before, and then I sort of forgoed my yoga practices, and now you see me being more committed. So I hope that we can do this more often. Maybe we can do a bit of yin, a practice of yoga, yin yoga, a yin yang yoga, we'll see how it goes. All right, namaste, thank you so much, and good night. Make sure you drink water, okay, later. Yes, you did. Twice. But that's good. Is there any